Welcome back to I Am Ultimate's coverage of the 2021 Ultimate Canada Invitational. We had Mixed Masters earlier. Now we got the Open Masters final between Ottawa still and Montreal's NSOM. Theo and here in the booth with Rose Carlton, special guest out here to provide some color commentary. Tim Ambry on the camera, Tushar Singh on the ones and twos back there operating the scoreboard. So Rose, how you doing? You just came off a game, I believe. Is that right? Or you?
No,
you're starting out right now.
We're starting at noon. Our team playing in the Mixed Masters division. I'm not playing this year, but I'm helping out with line calling and supporting the team on the sideline. So we are going straight to semifinals. I don't yet know who my team's BOD. I don't yet know who we're playing against, but excited to find out. And I'm excited to be here to announce the game for this men's final. I have to say I'm particularly excited since my hometown team, NSOM, is playing, and it's hard to choose a side. You never want to choose a side, but I can't say that my heart's not with NSOM right now.
That's fair, and some people may have expected another team to be in the final, but just because of the way pools shake out and things. But NSOM actually played still in pool play, losing 13-8 if I'm not mistaken. So these teams have seen each other before. We'll see if adjustments get made. We see still on offense to start. And Rose, you've been down in the complex earlier today. What's the conditions like for those who are watching back home?
The conditions are beautiful. These fields are gorgeous. They're nice and soft. There's still a tiny bit of dew on the grass, but I don't expect that that's going to cause any trouble to any of these players. And yeah, it's just gorgeous. A little bit of wind. Again, these guys are masters. They should have no problem dealing with it.
O'Callaghan over to Way. Been a stalwart in the Ottawa scene. Slashing across. Cole still working up nice and easy right now on offense. Going around to Wade. Trying to tiptoe to the end zone. Just on the doorstep. Lefty in for the score. And still gets a clean hold. Green with the assist.
Right away, as you can see that Still played that first point with quite a bit of patience. They came right up the open side on the far sideline from us. And instead of trying to punch it in, they took their time, moved it across the field. Saw a couple of times that the disc had a little waver, so it is possible that the wind might have more of a factor than I thought.
Still now on defense, and what can you say about the NSOM team, Rose? You know a lot about them, so why don't you give us a little insight into that?
This is a team that's been in existence for a very long time now. It was put together by a bunch of guys initially who just wanted to keep playing at a high level after reaching a certain age, right? And it's now become a much more evolved team, and it's getting stronger and stronger every year. And we see players who've been playing at high level at junior, well, not junior yet, but senior level, and moving into this Masters group. So every year, I feel like this team is evolving into a stronger team.
And they have two teams, if I'm not mistaken, as well. I've seen NSOM 1, NSOM 2 at tournaments like Montreal's Jazz Fest or here in Ottawa at No Borders. So lots of different options there. Far side here for NSOM. Can they come out with some smooth offense? Ayat looking deep for Cote and too far.
These guys are a bunch of guys who've been playing together for a long time. They are, and whether it's with NSOM or other teams, so they play very instinctually as well. I think that was just a slight overthrow.
We'll see if Still's D-line, and as I say that, it gets macked and saved. And they're calling down our first call of this game. We know earlier Mixed Masters, there's a few calls as well, but this is the final. And one thing to note for the audience is, if I'm not mistaken, Tushar can maybe correct me as well, there is like a +1. If it goes to time, you have to score the last point to win, if I'm not mistaken, in the final. So I think that's a little bit of a wrinkle there than normal. It won't just go to hard cap, and you can't just kind of milk out the clock to win there. Is what it sounded like on the final, at least the way I read it. So we'll see if that takes place. Turnover here from Still. Working it up the open sideline. Hayat again having the disc. Centers to Mathieu. Mathieu still has the disc, guarded by Gerhardt. I mentioned with some Ottawa players, but they also have a mix of players from around Ontario, NSOM mostly being Montreal, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Rose?
Mostly Montreal, but there are quite a few players from Quebec or others like Sherbrooke or Trois-Rivières.
See miscommunication there. Yankee with the disc. Some of these players were on the Still team that would have tried to represent Canada there at the World Ultimate Guts Championship. So a lot of seasoned veterans on this team. Some of them playing on the 2016 Masters team as well. Corey. Almost got there. Tivierge. Inside break to Phelan. Out of bounds call. We got the observers for today. Glenn Ford, Ken Lang out there in the orange. They're going to be making those active in and out calls. Rose, could you see from your vantage point if that was in or out? It's kind of hard to maybe see from our scaffolding point of view there.
You know, I would have, from here, it looked like in, but I totally trust Glenn. I don't know, that's Ken Lang over there. I trust his vision far more than mine from where my standpoint is.
That's a fair point there. NSOM, another opportunity. Can they cash in here? 70-minute game, so you can't let the lead balloon too quickly here for either side. Open side to Lauzon. Tivierge goes inside, but a pick is called downfield.
Nothing says open like a good pick. I think that might be something we've heard before. But he looked mighty too open for that to be an easy cut.
Simone Ayat, number 29. I think he's still open right now, and
he looks to be.
They're going to throw that same throw. Nice and chilly. Does NSOM need to work it here to get their first hold of the game? Hayat goes around. Hayat looking for Lauzon, but no options. Inside, blocked by Andy Corey. Still with another opportunity. Will they call a timeout or maybe go fast here on offense?
For a second point of the game, this feels like a long point, but it's so tough to burn a timeout in a second point. Danny's got some speed. That's Danny Cote. You've been seeing him doing a lot of the long cuts, and now you see him also covering the long on D.
Well, NSOM decide to put it up, and they do. It's a lasery throw, and very, very sloppy second point. But as we say that, there is a foul call on the inside throw. Yankee getting called on a foul. We'll see him discuss it with the observer, and of course the thrower.
I think that's Jan Bouchard with the disc. I can't quite see because the defender is blocking me. Yeah.
Bouchard, number 93. Bouchard?
Jan Bouchard.
Yeah, as you can tell, folks, we have a more francophone speaker in the booth and maybe someone who's a little more anglophone. So trying our best with the pronunciations here.
It's funny that you say francophone, given coming from Montreal, I am so clearly anglophone in Montreal, but here in Ottawa.
For the purpose of this stream, I think you're more francophone here.
J'espère que je peux aider un peu.
Don't know what that means, but hopefully that's good words. I don't know.
I'm hoping I can help a little. And it seems like the call was pulled back, that it's a foul up, or foul was rescinded, yeah.
So another chance here. Phoenix mainstay. Handler Bryce Ring to pick up. They're going to cut out the open side and looking for Phelan. Finding options now to Corey, who got the hand block earlier on this point. which seems forever ago now because of the so many turnovers. Yankee, a little shimmy shake. Up the line to ring. Still maybe more content to work it instead on this defensive point instead of shooting it deep right away.
I think so. Again, you're seeing some patience, but the fatigue has got to be getting in. These guys have been on the field for how long now? Like 5-7 minutes? It's a long time to be playing an ultimate point and try to sprint over and over again. That was a nice little inside-out pass.
A little inside-out throw. It's one of my favorites. Yankee pointing, looking for options, ring up the line, trying to find his way in, and I do not think he was in. That was a little more like a belly flop there or something.
I think he touched the ground as he was hitting it and hoped that he hadn't, that he could just dive it in there.
He's going to go around, and there is a call, though. Lots of calls here early in this open final.
I'm not sure if that might have been a stall down call. It's hard to see from here because I don't see any hand signals on the field. I have to say, I love it when people give hand signals on the field, especially as a commentator. It makes the world a difference because we don't have our observers mic'd. So how do you know? It's one of the things as our team on BOD we've been talking about a lot in terms of even spirit for the other team and for our own, is to, when you're making a call, show the hand signs, show what's going on so that everybody is aware and has a chance of what's up, has a chance to know how to readjust as soon as the disc is called back in.
Good point about the mics. We were talking about that earlier on the broadcast as well, Tushar and I. Stall 8, high stall count. Ring's got to get rid of it. And there potentially is some contention, but looks like it is a goal for Still.
I think Lausanne was wondering whether or not had the disc been called in or not, and realized that it's up to the mark to call it in. So it's the disc was in. I think that was a bit of a heartbreaker for NSOM. I have to say, you're starting off on 0. We see some of the same guys coming out again. You see Danny Cote, LP Lausanne coming out to give a yet, and I think that's Simon Ayot as well. Dan Turcotte, number 2. Who else do we have coming out there?
Jan Bouchard is out there.
Yeah, Chris Mathieu is on the line. So you're seeing a lot of guys who've just played that long point, and they're coming out to do it again.
And there's a lot of familiar names I've seen kind of in the ultimate scene. Jan Bouchard being one of them. Dan Turcotte, Jean-Lévis Champagne. Hopefully I'm getting your last name right there.
Champagne.
But lots of legends out here on the NSOM team.
Oh, there are. You know, you've seen Jan Bouchard. He's been playing high level. He's playing mixed, open, beach, grass, worlds, nationals, local.
Has he played on the moon? Because it sounds like he's played everywhere else. So.
Yeah, and his wife, girlfriend, Virginie, I've had the many opportunities to play with her, who is also an excellent player in her own right.
Little split stack action, isolating one cutter, Cote. And they're going to flood out and find Lausanne underneath, and a drop right away.
Yet another heartbreaker for NSOM right there. You know, I just want to see these guys pull it together, get their heart back into it, clean it up.
Hogel finds Kubinek. A round break to Yandy for the score. And it's a little break train happening for Still. 3-0 to start this game.
Now, I'm curious. Like what I'm seeing right now with the people walking towards the line, yes, NSOM is going to put a D line out there to see if the D line can make it happen on O. We've got Jean-Lévis Champagne, Timat, Alexis, Papa. You know what?
Papa Dimitru is, I think, kind of how you say it, but Alexis might be the way to go for that last name.
For me, it's going to be that.
Lacombe is out there, number 9.
Lacombe. Again, Michael Lacombe, somebody who's got a huge amount of experience playing here and internationally. Spent some time living in Australia. And his girlfriend, Jessie Circe, I think she is playing in the tournament as well, but I think maybe with Epoch, I'm not 100% sure in the mixed.
And I see some of your BOD counterparts getting ready, including you got one of Toronto's own, Eric Blanchard, on your squad. So I like to see some people I recognize, on all the rosters. So good to see BOD out there. You'll be in the semifinal you mentioned, and we are streaming a mixed semifinal. I don't know which one yet. So it sounds like BOD versus, do we know who they're going to be playing? Not yet. Head shakes from the booth here. But Montreal, you're getting some more love out here, and tell your teammates, tell your friends to tune in. Rose Carlton beside me here on the mic, Theo out here commentating some great ultimate. NSOM, you do need a hold though right now.
Yes, we do. NSOM certainly does. So who do we have here on still? Getting out there, we've got a second D line coming out, or is it the same people again?
See a few different, I see Nick Cece on the mark, Mike Lee, another Phoenix player, John Hallett out there, Joel Yandy, who caught the point earlier from Kubinek, who's also on the field, another turnover, and things just not going right for NSOM early, but Rose, I will say earlier, Max Power went up 3-1, ended up losing the game, so, it's not over just yet.
I started watching a little bit of that game earlier, and it was having played against Forever Young, I was not surprised to see Forever Young bring it back. Yesterday we were up by a lot, and then they play with a lot of heart, that team, and grit.
Lee finds Howell for the score, but another ground strip there, and that's going to negate the goal. We saw that earlier in the game, so it's happening on the same end zone as well. How ironic is that? Champagne going around, Howlett in contention. I'm going to say Alexi with the disc just to save the last name there.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. It's Martin Place with the disc right now. Looking for a dump option and straight up pick.
Paragon going to have the disc, number 3.
Feels like the wind just suddenly picked up. I don't know about
you. You hear it in the mics for sure. Hopefully we don't get blown off out of the booth.
Ideally not.
Keep streaming up here, but some good tight dump defense.
Oh, there is.
And great layout block. Mike Lee flying through.
That was a heck of a D. You know, that was a team D, and then finally with Mike Lee flying through, giving that last little ditch of effort to help it out. Oh, almost.
Cece with the grab. He is a shooter, so look to see him sling it here on the defensive line. Number 97 goes with a scuba to Hogel. Lee milking it. Came in with the flying block earlier at Landy. Still defensive line, moving it with great pace right now. Lee looking for options.
Tight defense right now, but still seems to be moving the disc comfortably. They're not pushing it. They're not forcing anything. They're taking the options they've got.
Kubinek is poached. Mac disc from Champagne, but Kubinek comes down with it.
I don't know if I were NSOM, I would consider taking a timeout right now, regrouping the team. That's 4 in a row. Is that 4 or 3?
4 in a row. 4-0
yeah.
is the score, and that's tough. And
it is tough, and that, you know, at some point you've got to get everybody together and say, okay, what's up, and what can we do differently? It seems to me almost that they're playing nervous, and it looks to me like Still is playing with a huge amount of confidence.
I would say one benefit, obviously, with Still is that they've played at these fields many a time. They've been in this spot before. NSOM, maybe, I know there's no lights here, but maybe the live stream lights getting to them. Of course not. They've been playing for so long. I'm sure that's not the case. But Rose, no timeout call.
No timeout call. I'm a little surprised. But you know, I'm not their coach. I'm not the one standing on the sideline and taking the temperature of the emotions on the sideline. We're back to our O line for NSOM. Pretty much the first line that we saw come out on O earlier, the second point. And on Still,
some of their first D line, it looks like. I see Phelan out there, Yankee. Who else do we see? Bryce Ring, Andy Corey pulling. He had that big hand block earlier. still has a bigger roster than I've seen a lot of the other teams. I think they go maybe like 21 deep, it looks like. So no team bringing like 28 players, a 2-day tournament. So good to see everyone get some shine out here, especially on the live stream contest.
I think you might be interested. Some of the mixed teams are bringing that many because
okay.
of the mix of the 4-3 switching back and forth all the time. You need to have an equal number of both sexes, genders, and it does add a certain number. It does make you have to lift up the number of players.
Nothing really happening downfield for NSOM. Finally get out of it. Tevierge. Inside break to, it looked like.
I think he was looking for Jean Saint-Jean Timmins, who had just turned to cut long instead of coming back under. I think that was the look. So just a communication error, it looked like to me.
Ring going deep for Ellenberger, and that is not going to stay in bounds. We'll see where it went out. NSOM player saying around midfield.
Dan Ellenberger, he's not an Ottawa player, is he? I think he's from I thought he was Winnipeg or Edmonton.
That I do not know. Maybe the live stream can comment for us. Tushar saying he doesn't know.
We have a lot of unsureness right here. But he doesn't, I seem to remember him not being from Ottawa anyway.
Inside break gets blocked.
Oh, that's a hand block.
Dan Blue Yankee, I know his nickname from slinging it around with him over in the Kitchener-Waterloo area. So he gets the block, and still just, that's multiple hand blocks now in this game. You don't see that quite often.
Well, I've seen a few times that NSOM's trying to throw that IO flick into a tight space. That is hard, and the defense knows that they can if they know that they're going to do it, they're going to step up and take that away from NSOM. Maybe
go around a little bit is what you're saying, Corey. Big flick out.
Oh, Saint-Jean Timmins with a huge flying D. He's remarkably tall. He's got a reach, and obviously he can still fly.
Yeah, a lot of these players, you think masters, they can't fly, but we've seen some exciting plays early on. And I like that you clarified his name because I wasn't sure if the last part of his last name, throw a little French accent on it, but Saint-Jean Timmins with the throw. Ellenberger with maybe a nudge, but no foul call, maybe over the head there.
That was of Hughes. Yep.
Injury called. Ellenberger going to come off the field, number 32.
And I think Hughes is calling for a sub as well. Let's see who they're putting on. 27, is that Joseph Genet?
37 on our list.
37.
There is no 37 on the roster, so that's going to throw a little bit of a wrench into our plans.
I believe that's Joseph Genet. It's hard, again, I'm finding it hard to see from here.
And Rose, I will say for the audience to be transparent, the challenge of calling 4 games in a row, that is a little bit of a tougher thing, so we do appreciate the patience with that. We're trying to get it as professional as possible, right, Rose? I know you've done some commentating as well other places. So we're trying to narrow it down for our loving audience at home. Popped up throw, flying D.
Beautiful D. And a timeout. Now we've seen a timeout. This might be a good time for NSOM. They know they need to score this if they want to stay in this game. So getting the timeout, organizing their O. Let's see what they can do.
We took like a 2-second break there, but NSOM coming out, timeout. They need the score, as we've said multiple times on the broadcast. But Rose, I want you to picture yourself right now. You're the NSOM coach or one of the captains. I see Dan Turcotte talking. What are you kind of drawing up? You're just going to, go with the traditional vertical stack in the end zone, kind of angle a little bit there, and maybe run initiation off the top of the stack?
To be perfectly honest, I'd like to use the green space, right? In an end zone, I like having more than one option. I would probably be looking at straight down the middle, look at your front cutter, first of all, for a quick ISO, and then as other options, look to see what's coming out of the back. We've had this conversation with my team. We talk about being best at the basics. Some of the simplest plays are the ideal plays in these kind of situations. Again, it is a little windy. We know that NSOM's been looking for their IOs. I'm curious to see if we're going to see another IO flick effort here.
Janae already faking the high release flick before he even starts the point.
And we've got our quick moving Danny Cote in the front of the stack. Oh.
He tried to milk it in, it looked like, and I think he looked where he was trying to catch before he actually caught the disc.
I think it absolutely looked like that. Like he took a quick look down at his feet before just catching the disc.
Corey with a put out to space to Prue. One of the French names on this still squad. Offensive foul called.
I like the spirit when there's a foul called like that and the players acknowledge it. A quick hand tap. I know it's COVID, so we can't we shouldn't be touching too much at the same time. It's still I appreciate the players taking the time to acknowledge each other.
Ring's gonna go around to Yankee. This D-line offense has been proficient. As I say that, run through D. Cote's been all over the field.
He has. Again, you're seeing it certainly must have been doing some kind of training during COVID because he's running as if he's 20 years old.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Masters, you got to be a certain age. Flying in is Phelan and some exciting plays. Rose, can you clarify the Masters requirements? I know it's 33 for open players, but what is it for female matching players, as the timeout is called?
30. So that's, in fact, you see that in the women's game a lot. There's playing at 30 years old, you're still playing women's rather than moving up to Masters. So when you come to these big tournaments, all of a sudden the rosters are filled with these young ones who run around like crazy.
Young ones, they say, yeah, in the Masters. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, you know, you keep playing Masters for a long time. You don't just start playing Masters at 30, play till you're 35, and then stop. No, people keep playing on and on and on. And now we're seeing great Grandmasters, great Grandmasters.
What's great Grandmaster? I know Grandmasters is 40, and then what is it for female matching players?
For Grandmasters it's 37, so I think it's 3 years difference for each one. And then there's great Grandmasters, which you know, you see more international tournaments. You definitely, or in the States. You don't see it here in Canada so much.
Is that 50?
I think it is 50. They did talk about lowering it to 48, just to make sure that you could still have some people on the field without their walkers out there.
Oh, come on now.
Well, no, I've played great Grandmasters, so I'm talking for myself, speaking for myself.
I don't know if I want to play that long. It just sounds like a long time playing
fun.
Ultimate.
Oh, come on. Ultimate is just so much fun. How do you ever stop?
Honestly, I'm in the booth now, and I think I'm just going to stay there. It sounds like Tushar and Rose. I think I'm just going to stay in the booth. Still coming out here, Hogel. I've definitely played against Phoenix before and recognized a lot of these faces. They've been Phoenix mainstays, and now taking it into the Masters game. Ring, you can see him holding in that just flick grip, ready to launch a huck at any point in his sequence. Another, what I thought was a block, but they were able to capture it. That was Prue underneath.
NSOM, their O-line is still playing defense like they really want it. So now it's like, make this turn and score.
Good switch downfield and a hammer throw. Tivier scoops it up. Maybe ill-advised there from Corey.
I'm not sure that was the best option, but you know, you're talking to a team that's up. You get more license to take some risks when you're up like that. I'm not so sure NSOM's got the same license at the moment.
No, they definitely do not. And Turcotte throw and go, leaves his defender in the dust. Up the line, too high. And now another turnover. This point has, I think the second point of the game was probably the longest, but this is probably the second longest.
Catching up there, and you know, I think it might be the same group of same lines for both teams. You can see them, like a few of them, you know, catching their breath. They're leaning over, hands on the knees. This is a long point yet again, as you say.
Holgo breaks out of it to Phelan.
You can see Dan Turcotte. The little poaching stuff in the lane seemed to have worked a little.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a wobbly throw as well. Turcotte.
Oh, finally, NSOM has a score on the board.
Yeah,
they deserve it. Honestly,
Rose,
they
you're
deserve
excited.
it.
You're excited. I know the Montreal fans are excited in the audience. Thank you for tuning in. I will also say bonjour to the French audience, and that's the extent of my French knowledge.
Mais
So
je
you
peux
can
dire,
maybe say a message there for the French
je pense
crowd.
que tous les fans montréalais maintenant peuvent commencer à respirer que finalement, enfin, NSOM est on the board avec un point. Et maintenant, est-ce qu'on peut voir que la ligne défensive peut peut mettre la pression sur Still et faire un autre turn? It would be really nice if NSOM could come out really tight on defense, force a turn, and get back in the game. The game's not over, and we've got about 40 minutes left, just a little less than that. NSOM's got a lot of work to do, and yeah. So who do we have on the Still O-line? We've seen a lot of defense from them.
Yeah, we have, and I see some Ottawa mainstays, as I keep mentioning, but Greg Ellis is out there and Keelan Way, who's, I know he all the way back in 2012 played on the mixed team. That's a throwback fact for the audience there. Looking deep, Gorski does find an option. I don't think that was his intended receiver.
Didn't
Green.
look like it.
Ellis slashing out of the handler space, finds Gorski for the score. Smooth hold.
That was a nice smooth hold. They got lucky there that the wind lifted up the disc on the swing pass, but they were set up to catch. I wouldn't call that garbage because it was certainly not a garbage throw, but they were there.
Not intended receiver though, you would say.
That's a much better way to say it. I appreciate that, Theo.
Still, I see Cote's out there, Turcotte, Mathieu.
Tivierge.
Yep, St. Jean Timmins.
Yeah. We've got a lot of the usual suspects out there on the O-line. Hughes is back out there. Took an injury sub the last time.
Yep.
I think, well, when Still called an injury, he was replaced. And LP Levzan, I think, is the last. Just looking at that O-line, we were talking just a little while ago about the age for Masters and Grandmasters. A bunch of these guys played in the Grandmasters tournament last weekend in Montreal, and some. So, and I suspect perhaps Still as well. But looking at that line, we've got a bunch of these players who've played 2 tournaments in a row. They're not the 33-year-olds, right?
St. John Timmins goes up high for the score. Get up.
Well, that was the quickest point that Montreal has had, and I have to say they must that breathing a sigh of relief. The entire sideline, I think you could just see them heave that sigh of relief. Yes, we finally got one without having to battle every second on the field. St. Jean Timmins, he's got some bounce, huh?
Yeah, still got the bounce, can definitely jump higher than me. I got no bounce, so I don't want to be matched up against him for sure down in the deep space.
Also a little bit of go-go gadget arms.
Definitely helps with when you got the length to really make those plays. Still going with the same O-line. What do we see here from NSOM?
Again, I think we've got the D-line, Mick Lecombe, Virat, who else is out there? Dave Tremblay.
I see TJ Reed's a familiar face to those in the Hamilton scene, I know.
Yeah.
He's played some Union as well out of Toronto.
It's a nice pull with the wind at the back.
Green centers to O'Callaghan. Reed's on the mark. O'Callaghan has to put it deep. Looking for Way.
And hanging in the wind. Is it going to go out?
Gorski goes up strong with 2 hands. Finds Hunter. Eric, or Max Hunter as some know him. Hunter putting out to space for Way. For the score, 6-2. Fun fact about Eric Hunter, recently announced as a coach for the U20 Open team, assistant coach. So that's pretty exciting for him. So congrats for that honor.
I have to say, it's great to see some of these guys who've been playing for such a long time donate their time to coaching, getting involved with youth ultimate. There's obviously Hunter, there's guys on the Montreal's or the NSOM squad as well who are very involved locally, getting youth out there, coaching them, and we're seeing you see a difference now because in juniors you're seeing a level of play step up every year that all these youth, they have an opportunity to play that a lot of these guys didn't have when they were that young, so they're able to give back.
And Hunter being so popular, signing some autographs for the crowd. So do appreciate that Eric Hunter, a celebrity out here.
That's brilliant. So I guess that was the Vancouver teams going by there to get Hunter's signature, thanks to the fact that he has had a career with Furious George. Obviously an extremely well-known team out there.
See them next week, and maybe we'll stream one of their games. I don't know, depending on how far they make it, of course. A lot of good teams out there in the Open Division next weekend. I'm really excited to see what GOAT has out of Toronto, and then Mephisto, and even Red Circus out of Halifax. I'm really excited to see them, to see some of that East Coast representation. They haven't been to the Canadian Championships in a few years, so I want to see them and see what they can bring.
And thanks to COVID, we haven't had that much traveling to play Ultimate, let alone, we haven't had tournaments, but let alone having teams from across the country. Anything's been done locally, so it's fantastic to start seeing some teams coming from across the country.
Mathieu finds Terre Vierge, and they're going to swing it all the way around Lauzon.
Little hot potato ultimate there.
We do like that because it puts the defense in trouble and their marks, especially downfield.
Absolutely.
Open side, hanging throw.
So with two defenders and not the tallest person out there, Hughes was able to get some ups. I think Hughes through the pandemic, he does a lot of swimming. He's a master swimmer, and as well, I don't know how that helps with your springs, but it seems to make a difference for him.
You know what, Rose? I really appreciate the fun facts for the audience, because otherwise, if they weren't tuning into broadcast, they wouldn't know all this stuff, all this good info. So thanks for sharing it all, giving us more insight into some of these Montreal players.
You're going to have to go hang out with the Still sideline and offer you some more from that side.
Yeah, I like also, if we take a look at the Still sideline there, Holgel really talking to the group and just trying to encourage them with some defensive strategy. Even though they're up, they're not satisfied with where they're at right now. And they're looking to push now, but also for the future. So that's great to see from Holgel and the rest of this team.
If I'm not mistaken, Still accepted their bid for Worlds already. So win or lose, they're going. And I don't know how many bids Canada has, 2 or 3?
I believe it's 2 right now. So if NSOM were to take it, they would get the bid. And I'm not sure. I believe if NSOM were to lose this game, maybe there would be a bid place game. I'm not sure. Or I'm getting a head shake from Tushar, so we'll have to figure it out at a later date. Focus right here on the game action. Haig. Couple lefties on this offensive line. Add some dynamic throwers, which I like, and some different angles. Ellis.
That's a nice D. I was going to say a nice put, which it was, but it was a great D by Jean-Lévis Champagne, who I would hesitate to say the heart of this team.
Okay.
He plays with a huge amount of emotion, and he commits so much time to every team he plays with, as well as the juniors.
It looked like a blown tire there from Reeds, and a push pass is going to result in a score, and just a kind of sloppy end to that point there.
It was very unfortunate. I think that was just a slip, as you say, a blown tire in the end zone. So I mentioned earlier that there was still a little bit of dew on the grass. Maybe that does still make a difference.
Yeah, we saw a lot of turnovers early on in the Mixed Masters quarterfinal because of the dew, I believe, and we've actually reached Halftime, 7-3 the score. We're going to take a halftime ourselves and just grab some hydration, take the headsets off, and we'll be right back here for I Am Ultimate's coverage of the 2021 Ultimate Canada Invitational. We're back, Ottawa, Ontario, for I Am Ultimate's coverage of the 2021 Ultimate Canada Invitational. We got Open Masters final between Montreal's NSOM and Ottawa's Still. Theo won on the mic here with Rose Carlton. And Still on offense here. They had a bit of a rough start to the half, but, you know, it got a lot better for them at the end.
It did. It seemed like they found a little bit of rhythm right there. Unfortunately, that's an injury sub, Phil Tiviage, coming off. It looks like a groin pull. There's just a slight bit of contact in that cut. Incidental. There was nothing foul about it, but really unfortunate for Phil, unfortunate for the team to see him coming off in a bit of pain.
Yeah, and if you're NSOM right now, what do you think they need to change up? What's been working and maybe not working so much for them?
Well, I think adjusting to the wind is an important thing for them. Despite the fact that I said it earlier, everybody knows how to play in the wind. It's like every time you come back out, you still have to make adjustments, and I think NSOM's doing that. They seem to work much better when they do quick passes. Their longs were a little bit more risky, and I think that's also because Still is putting a really, really tight defense on and is reading the disc extremely well in the air. That was LP Lausanne, but I think there's a call on the play.
Yeah, either there may have been a stall down, but I know there was picks for sure because there were like 6 players within like a few meters of the disc. So for sure there was something happening there, and it's going to get rectified hopefully soon, especially if you're an NSOM fan, because you know we're going to go to hard cap. I don't think maybe this game goes to 13, but I'm thinking that it probably won't. So it sounds like you really just got to have, the clock is not on your side if you're NSOM there. 23:50 as we speak left on the clock.
And the observers discussed the call, and they're calling that a goal. A goal. Score.
That could be what we like to call, we're going to coin it the I Am Ultimate turning point there of something that could really spark the defensive prowess of NSOM or just the energy and momentum. So I'm coining it right now, I Am Ultimate turning point. And speaking of I Am Ultimate, if you love our coverage, we're doing something special for just the stream. And Rose, why don't you talk about where, if people enjoy the stream and they want to donate, where can they do that and where would it go towards?
Well, first of all, I want to thank I Am Ultimate for being here and taking on this live stream. Tushar is doing a great job, and Theo as well. Thank you for including me and Tim on the camera. I appreciate all of you, and so do all of the fans out there. As an extra effort, I Am Ultimate is asking if anyone is interested to give donations to the Truth and Reconciliation organization.
Project.
It's a project. I don't know what it's project. Obviously, we are here on First Nations lands, and we have the joy of playing Ultimate on First Nation lands all over the country, and to be able to recognize our history and colonialization and to the effect that it has. I thank Tushar and I Am Ultimate for giving us the opportunity. If you go to the to the live stream, there is a link towards where you can donate.
IamUltimate.com/live to get all that info. You can also shoot I Am Ultimate a message if you really don't know where to go. I'm sure Tushar can get back to you within at least one business day, and he'll take care of that for you and make sure you get the donations to the right place. There are probably comments coming in, but we'll be honest with you, we actually can't see the YouTube comments. Tushar can, so if you are saying something to us, we do appreciate it either way. O'Callahan with the disc corrected his last name during the half, so it is O'Callahan, number 23. He told me to say in Irish, but I decided not to, so I'll just say it.
I'd like to see you try, though.
I mean, I'm already trying with the French names. Don't want to keep going with some others. Gorski looking in the end zone for Hunter. And some Vancouver fans maybe excited there in the audience cheering for Eric Hunter.
That was a quick release, fast flick into the end zone, and white jerseys were there, but it just behind, so it was just a nice, smooth point. We've got our O-line from NSOM back out. Again, similar players we're seeing. Sean St. John Timmins. We've got Danny Cote, Dan Turcotte, Ian Bouchard, Alex Hughes, Chris Mathieu, and who's the one? I'm missing one name.
Ayat, I think, on the end. Simone Ayat.
No right.
Tervierge, who got hurt earlier, so I see him kind of limping on the side a little bit, and maybe we'll see him back in action. I know he's an important part of this squad, so that's a big loss for NSOM if he doesn't play the rest of this game.
He is, but I see him putting his gloves back on, so it's possible that he's going to make an effort to come back out in a little while. And on the D line, we have, who's on the pull?
Andy Kubinek You know, I know a few years ago, I hope Kubinek allows me to share the story. I know that he had some like concussion things going on that I wasn't sure if he was ever going to play Ultimate again. So really cool to see him get right physically and be able to play back on the field. He's been a strong player, has played mixed for Union, and played on the Guelph Open team, University of Guelph. Give a little shout out there. So he's a big physical presence, and as we see a block there from Still.
I think that was drop, unfortunately.
A drop, some pressure, defense, not a block though, so Steele will not get credited with the block on the stat sheet.
Afraid not. I'm liking the pink socks. I have to. Oh, there's another drop. You know, 1 for 1.
Commentators
Exchange.
curse though. Commentators curse. You compliment something,
Yeah,
the
I
pink
know.
socks, and then he throws it away, or kind of miscommunication, I would say, both thrower and receiver error there with Lee.
Unfortunate.
Launching it deep.
And
Ayat.
wide open Ayat. I don't know what happened, if that was a missed share, a missed switch D, but Ayat looked wide open into the end zone, and I wish I saw who had thrown that.
It was Bouchard.
It was Bouchard. Okay. Great vision to be able to see over the crowd of players who's wide open.
Just got told by Tushar that we have 100,000 viewers on the stream. Wow, we do appreciate that. That is a lot of streams. Wow, wow, wow. But in all seriousness, thank you for tuning in. Montreal, Ottawa, wherever you're from, if you're West Coast, just getting up on your Sunday morning, having a little coffee, we appreciate you tuning in. We got mixed semifinal action coming up, teams to be updated, if I'm not mistaken, and then women's final. So lots going on. 20 minutes left, 8-5 the score. Don't think this game will go to 13, Rose. So
I don't think it will, but from where we started, I think this game has become a lot more of a competitive game, and it's nice to see NSOM getting into it.
And I'm going to take a quick time here to plug my own work. I know I'm going to be a self-promoter. If you like Canadian Ultimate, you can tune into the Hucking A podcast. I host it with Danny Proby, who plays for Vancouver Traffic, and we talk about Canadian Ultimate. So if you want to do that, you can find us on all the social media channels, except for TikTok. We're not there yet. And you can find us on any podcast platform. And
It's a bit of a junky zone set from NSOM right now, which made it work. It forced that turn, quick movement between Michael and Jean Lévy, and now a put into the end zone to... Yeah, that was Félix Méran, unfortunately. Just a little, the wind just took it a little bit much. Again, still with the tight D, and there's a question of a foul.
Yeah, did you think there was the bump there, or no, as NSOM goes back in their zone set?
I think, I think it might have been both players going up. I don't know if the contact might have made a difference, but they would have made, I would call that incidental, and it was good spirit not to call it, to be honest.
Right to left on your screen is still working in that zone look, and will that cause some problems? A lot of these seasoned handlers, you see a lot of zone, especially in the juniors division. We hear a fire called, so most likely a melt coming here from the Montreal group. Gorski up the lines, looking for another assist, and he's going to find one to Eric Hunter. They did the same thing earlier, so you're not seeing a broken record here. It's Gorski again to Hunter, and the score back up to 9-5. NSOM, you got to score quick here on offense.
Yep, and Phil Tivierge, you see him back out there on the field. I don't think it's even worth announcing all the players again because it's the same line, the same O-line. It's nice to see Tivierge back out there. LP Lauzon walking on, Sean St. Jean Timmins. I think there's a little frustration on that last point from NSOM. Maybe they can use that frustration to turn it up on defense and to get some intensity out onto the field on those defensive points. And on on defense we have?
It seems like some of a mix of first and second line players. I won't even call that. I think they just roll with whoever they can get. I don't think there's like a D1, D2, especially for these players who've all been playing at a pretty high level throughout their careers. So we see Andy Corey out there with the pull. Phelan, Bryce Ring, John Hallett, Matt Cole, Joel Yandy for Still. Trying to get that break to secure the game. They already have it. Not on lock per se, but this break would maybe seal it. Ellenberger thought he got a hand on it, but Cote, big fake. Puts Hallett on the dust, and now he's working up the field unmarked. Around to Tervierge. Turcotte hammer fake. Nice scoop cut. Bouchard. Love that move. Up the line, looks off. St. John Timmins.
Nice patience.
They need this point, Rose, so
They
the
do.
patience is definitely required, I would say.
Ooh, almost got that hand on that one.
Travel called. Work it back, Turcotte. German throw to Tervierge. Tervierge didn't even move before that throw came off.
You know, from here it looked like, oh my gosh, who's he throwing to for a second there? But that speaks a lot to knowing your players, playing together for a long time. You know, Dan Turcotte is going to look for that German. Phil Tervierge was ready for it. He just knows he's got to react in the last second rather than make that cut and lead the thrower the other way around.
Nine 9-6. Rose, we're back. Not over yet, of course. Lots left, and I'm getting an update here from our camera operator, Tim Ambry. It is going to be BOD versus Toronto's Reunion in the semifinal. So exciting action, Toronto-Montreal matchup.
That's an interesting choice because we played Reunion. BOD played Reunion already in the first round, so I'm not sure that's going to stick. We shall see, but
You're right. It might get switched because
it might get switched because
right,
they might
right.
alternate switch. You know, you know what I'm trying to say, but
We'll let you know. Is
Will
what
let
you're
us
saying.
know.
Tune into the
Yeah.
stream regardless because it's going to be exciting mixed semifinal.
Because given that Epoch and BOD finished first in both pools. Anyways, let's move on to this game. We'll talk about it another time.
Yeah, another time being you're going to have to be busy coaching out there. And scuba throw, they get out of it, and NSOM zone maybe effective more the first time around as Still just moving with some pace and ease.
It did look like Still adapted to that zone look. Wide open player there. That was a mixed switch.
Way goes inside for the score. Keelan Way.
NSOM really wanted and really needed that turn. You could see a bunch of the players trying to do almost too much and getting a little bit some miscommunication in terms of sharing the defense. We've got 11 minutes and 40 seconds left in this game, so NSOM's got to score this point quickly and get their D on quickly and make a turn if they want to bring it back.
And I hear what you're saying, Rose, because it started like that desperation starts to kick in where you feel like you have to make a play or else it's it. And sometimes when you do too much, it actually ends up hurting you more than it helps you.
Yeah, and you know, everybody out here is a great player, but you're only as good as your team play, right? And it's sometimes tough when it gets tight to trust all your teammates and to trust yourself to be, play your role and try not to take too many chances. Take the right chances. Maybe not too many, but take the right chances, the right risks.
It's kind of like in a zone look when you see some mids or side mids and they make a bid and it's a completely like not a good choice just because it allows the zone to get broken through. You have to kind of calculate in your mind, is this like a 90%, 95% rate, or if it's like 50%, don't go for it.
Yeah, and then in that split second, you've got to be able to make those calculations.
Yeah, tough, right? And that's why Ultimate, it trains you for a lot of different things, not just physically. They got the mental game as well, and that's what I love about sports. I don't know about you, Rose, but that's something I really like.
I do, and we see NSOM setting up with a horizontal stack this time. Straight man D by Still.
Looks like they're flooding two players out of the open side, looking for Cote, but I think Still read the play. Bouchard.
Over to Lausanne.
Cote is really impressing me this game. I've never seen him play before, and just the way he's working downfield has been really impressive. You say he's played a lot in Montreal, right?
He has played a lot in Montreal, and he plays a lot, also a lot in 4-on-4. You can see that quickness that he's got. It's a real plus for the quick movement in 4-on-4. It's a bit of a machine.
Yeah, I can see it right now. Cote up the line to Mathieu. Faking the break on Yandy.
Mathieu tends to be one of the more calmer players as a handler.
Still having patience, NSOM having patience, and they do need it. Down 10-6 with going to be less than 10 minutes left on the clock. Turcotte just flying it up. As I say, patience. Kubinek coming down with it, and as I mentioned, some of the head things that he's experienced before, but he just decides to go right into the play, saving the block.
I'm not sure if that looked like a high stall count throw to me, taking a chance. There's, when nothing's happening in front of you, you want the disc far from you. You're not going to do a risky dump at that point.
Cece and Hogle play a little give and go. Hallett cutting underneath. Goes around to maybe Lee or Cece, but NSOM decided not to pick it up quick, and now Turcotte. Could it be another high stall count?
I think right now there's a foul on the mark. Pick? That was a pick? Okay.
The hand signals help us out in the booth, and so does our producer right now, and Tushar Singh giving us the ins and outs of what's happening.
So you can see NSOM set up more into a stack in the middle of the end zone. Looking for Lausanne.
Lausanne going up
Turcotte.
the line and fakes it now, yeah. Turcotte. Hayat. Going all the way break side of Turcotte. Will he find someone? He does. That's Pews.
That was an example of nice patience, swing the disc. That's a back to the basics type of ultimate. Is there a travel call? There is a travel call, so back to the start.
Take that point off the board for now. Make the call quick if you're an NSOM fan, they say in the audience, because we want to see them come back here. And looks like it's been retracted. Or excuse me, there's a turnover. No, it's a goal. Lots of different signals happening. We're trying to figure it out here on the broadcast.
It's a goal, but did he show
goal.
a card? A blue card. Can somebody remind me what that blue card means? Is that a personal foul? So I guess
PMF? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so that I had said earlier that Chris Mathieu is one of the calmest players out there. I guess he's expressed a little frustration there at a call, and the observers recognized a little bit too much intensity on it.
Just under 7 minutes left in this game. If you're NSOM, throw everything you have, including the kitchen sink, as I like to say, to try to get this block, because time is really running out.
So who do we have out here? We've got
TJ Reed's about to pull. Jean-Lévis Champagne is out there. I don't think
Alexis is out there.
Miron?
Virat. Oh, I always have trouble with this last name. I even asked him before. Félix Miron is out there. Joseph Nope. Dave Tremblay on the mark.
Yeah, looks like they don't have their...
And a foot block.
Yeah, they don't have their offensive line players, but their D-line coming out hot. Reeds.
Yeah. Virat with the disc. Looking for Jean-Lévis. And
Gorski fell down. Going around to Reeds for the... No, it's not in. He turned it over.
Yeah, this is something that happens when you've got an observer out there. You've got to pay attention if they're not calling it in. Reeds thought it was in. The observer's calling it out. It's a turn. We had the same thing happen yesterday in one of our games, and it's heartbreaking.
That is so tough. And not just that, I'm going to be honest right now, not just that, it's just the time now is ticking away talking about it. And so now there's a foul call. But NSOM, I think that was their chance, Rose, and it just got slipped away. Tough.
Let's see if they can turn this energy, this sort of frustration, into intensity on D and
short
force.
field turnover,
and a short field turnover would be in their favor, obviously.
Hunter.
Tight D on the dump.
And now still moving it. O'Callahan decides not to huck it. I think that's a smart choice. You don't need to score quickly if you're still. You can work it back and forth and milk some of that time.
If I were the coach for Still, I'd be talking to them about possession. Safe. There's no need to take chances. Or you could take a chance.
As you said, Ellis, beautiful dime throw to Eric
Maybe that
Hunter.
wasn't a chance. Maybe that was just a beautiful throw.
That was a beautiful throw. He's done that for many years for Goat and for Phoenix, so take a look right there. Hunter with his third goal of the game, and folks, that may put the game out of reach. 11-7 with, we're going to check, probably under 5 minutes left. 4 minutes on the clock, and that is tough for NSOM.
It is really tough. That's a heartbreaker, and this team has been clawing its way back into this game after being down 4-0. To have that happen just near this conclusion of the game is just, I can't say heartbreaker enough. It just is a heartbreaker. We've got our O-line from NSOM back out there, the same as usual. And on defense, I think we're seeing again a kind of a mixed line from Still. Is that right, Theo?
Yeah, just a whole bevy of defensive line players. Corey, Cole, Phelan, Lee, Ring out there. The Ottawa contingent really strong right now, and a lot of these guys could be playing offensive line as well just because of how strong they are. But when you said they still with their coach, they have no coach if I'm not mistaken. So really I'd say it's like 20 coaches because they all play at such a high level that they know so much about the game. And I think that's what separates some of these teams here in the Masters Division especially, is the experience playing in open or women's or mixed at a high level, bringing that over to this scene. High throw, Turcotte, calm and collected, comes down with it. Some people might be nervous about that and kind of flub the catch after.
You just never give up.
Working down the open side is NSOM. They're going to find a nice throw to Bouchard, 11-8.
Yeah, that was an LP Lausanne throw to Bouchard. So you've got a cutter throwing into the handler into the end zone. You know, oftentimes we see that when a handler can recognize it. They're not being marked with the long cut. They take that space. And that was a nice, easy point for NSOM.
Need more of it right now. And we're going to get a clock check quickly here to see what's left in this game. Thank you for tuning in. Open final, 2 minutes left. Might be what I like to say too little too late, but you never know. Maybe a couple Callahans and they're right back in this game. We'll see.
Let's make that the call on the line. Callahan. Got Johan Baril, Michael Lecombe, Dave Tremblay, TJ Reeds. I think that's Joseph Genet. I can't see who's been leaning over, and Fat Fam, I think.
NSOM players on the line, we're going to say. No, I'm just kidding.
I know.
Lots of players you know, Rose, and you're bringing all that.
Oh, that's Martin
experience
Place.
There you go. And you know, for the audience back home, we got certain numbers on our sheet, and then the numbers changed, it's seemingly during the game. So there was a number 1, but then it became number 13. So excuse us when we try to, you know, fix the numbers a little bit here and get the players at our ducks in a row, as they say. Ellis had a beautiful throw earlier. Decides to go underneath to Way. Bumped on the mark and
bounced right back up.
He sure did. Didn't even make an animation, which is nice to see. Callahan inside. Ellis sure-handed. Loves his fakes. Underneath to Gorski. And that punctuates the victory. Eric Hunter, have a game. 4 goals on the day. Jan Gorski, 3 assists, and I feel like all 3 of his assists have been to Hunter, so that offensive line showing some nice, smooth work there.
Hunter seems to know he's got a crowd of fans out there. So
I think they've left now because they're warming up, but
oh,
yes,
well,
they were there before, though, I will say.
This is potentially the last point of the game, I think.
Yeah, well, it would be either with time or the...
There's the horn.
There's the horn there. 12-8 the score still. You are still keeping it going there in the ultimate scene in the Masters Open Division, or Open Masters Division, I should say. Putting in work as we see some wind coming down. Hopefully it doesn't knock us off because there was some heavy winds there as you could hear through the mic.
Yeah, and some clouds coming through as well. Although having a little less sun than we did yesterday is not necessarily a bad thing. It's wonderful to see, but it's also tough to play in all day.
Yeah, we're covered, so I feel like we're okay up here. But definitely down there, the sun, you can get a little drain there, right? It's not just the heat, it's also just the drain of the sun on you. I'm sure many people in the audience, they know after a long day ultimate or just in the sun, how much it takes away from you.
It's Phil Tevierge with the disc, so, and back to Phil.
Tevierge is a name I've heard of before. I know there's a lot of legendary Phils in Montreal Ultimate, if I'm not mistaken. I know there's Phil Dorval as well.
Yeah.
Cece finds Holgel. Can still actually bring this to score cap here and get the 13th goal of the game. Wind really coming down strong here. Lee. Kubinek has no stall count, so he's going to just wait, go around to Cece. Trying to finish this game off here and walk off into the sunset with a gold medal. Lee looking for Hallett, and Hallett's going to get the score and still are your Open Masters champions at the 2021 Ultimate Canada Invitational. Rose, really appreciate you being in the booth. Tushar producing the game. Tim Ambury on the camera. I'm Theo Wan. Thank you for tuning in. And Rose, what do you want to take away from this game and sort of give us a little summary of all the action that happened?
A summary. I think in terms of summary, I think NSOM started off a little rough in this game. I think still came out there strong and confident. Still knew what they knew. They were kind of the favored team here. NSOM knew they were the underdogs. It's almost as though they came out a bit nervous. Their didn't quite pull it together right away. What is great about it is watching NSOM come back from 4 down and to keep plugging it through all throughout the game. We saw some great plays by individual players on both teams. In the end, it was a good game. I was very happy to be here. I appreciate being able to talk about my home team, and I really enjoyed sharing the live stream with you, Theo.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. I am Ultimate for producing, and we'll be right back in about 20 minutes or so. Don't look now, but there's another game coming, mixed semifinals. We'll be right back.